The emergency broadcast crackled across every screen, every device, every neural implant connected to the Terran network. Elizabeth Chen stood frozen in the operations center of the United Earth Defense Command, her hands trembling as the numbers scrolled across the holographic display. 7 million. 7 million human lives extinguished in the blink of an eye. The Zarthian fleet had appeared without warning in Earth's orbit 3 hours ago. Their message had been simple, delivered in perfectly translated human languages. Surrender your resources, or witness extinction. When Earth's delegates had requested time to consider, a mere 6 hours to consult with world governments, the Zarthians had responded with action. The orbital colony of New Singapore had been their example. 7 million souls vaporized by a weapon that turned matter itself into cascading waves of annihilation. Children, families, scientists, artists, all gone. The aliens had broadcast the destruction on every frequency, ensuring that every human being with access to communication witnessed the atrocity. They're demanding our answer now, Noah Reeves said quietly, standing beside Elizabeth at the command console. His voice was steady, but she could see the rage burning behind his eyes. Noah had family on New Singapore. Had Elizabeth looked around the operations center, generals, admirals, politicians, and scientists all watched her. As the director of UEDC, the decision ultimately fell to her shoulders. Surrender meant slavery. The Zarthians were known across the galaxy as conquerors who stripped worlds bare and used their populations as livestock. Defiance meant, what? Humanity had barely achieved faster-than-light travel a decade ago. Earth's military fleet consisted of 47 warships, respectable for defending against pirates and minor threats, but laughable against the 200-vessel armada that now surrounded their homeworld. "Show me their fleet disposition again," Elizabeth commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying the Zarthian formation. Their ships were massive, living biomechanical constructs that could regenerate damage and adapt to attacks. Intelligence suggested each vessel required hundreds of enslaved species to operate. Their consciousness melded into the ship's neural network. "Ma'am, we have 30 minutes before they open fire on another target," an analyst reported. "Projections suggest they'll hit Tokyo next. 30 minutes to save 14 million people. 30 minutes to decide the fate of humanity." Elizabeth's mind raced through scenarios. Earth's military doctrine had been developed for peer conflicts. Nation against nation, colony against colony. Nothing prepared them for this. Nothing except, "Noah, pull up Project Fenrir." The room fell silent. Several officers exchanged worried glances. "Director, Fenrir isn't operational," Noah said carefully. "It was theoretical. We shelved it because it was too dangerous," Elizabeth finished. "Because the simulations showed it could destabilize local spacetime. Because we were afraid of what we'd created." She turned to face the assembled command staff. "We're not afraid anymore." Project Fenrir had been humanity's darkest secret, a weapon conceived during the paranoid years following first contact with alien civilizations. While Earth had presented itself as peaceful and diplomatic to the galactic community, a small group of scientists and military planners had asked a simple question: what if we meet something we can't reason with? The answer was Fenrir, a quantum cascade device that created a chain reaction in the exotic matter used in faster-than-light drives. Every ship within range would see its FTL core detonate with the force of a small star. Calculations suggested it would work. Calculations also suggested it might tear holes in reality itself. "The prototypes are in the lunar facility," Noah said, pulling up classified files. 3 devices never tested at full scale. We'd need to position them around the Zarthian fleet. "How long?" Elizabeth asked. "If we use every stealth shuttle we have, 20 minutes to deploy. 5 minutes to charge and synchronize." He paused. "Ma'am, we don't know if this will work. And if it does, the spatial disruption could damage Earth satellites, disable our defense grid, maybe worse." Elizabeth looked at the image of New Singapore, or where it had been. 7 million people who had been living their lives, who had trusted Earth to protect them. She thought of the children in Tokyo, going about their Saturday morning unaware that orbital death hung over their heads. "Prep Fenrir," she ordered. "All 3 units. I want them positioned in a triangular formation around the Zarthian fleet. Maximum coverage." The operations center exploded into activity. Orders were transmitted through quantum-encrypted channels. On the lunar surface, automated systems that hadn't been activated in years hummed to life. Stealth shuttles coated in metamaterials that bent sensor waves around them, launched from hidden bays. The Zarthian commander's face appeared on the main screen, a being that resembled a cross between a mantis and a shark. Its translator implant rendering its speech in cold, emotionless tones. "Humans, your time expires. What is your answer?" Elizabeth stepped forward. "Our answer is no. We will not surrender. We will not bow. And we will not forget." The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Defiance, how I'd expected. We shall enjoy breaking your—" "Fenrir is in position," Noah announced quietly. All 3 units active and synchronized. Elizabeth never took her eyes off the Zarthian commander. "You came to our home. You murdered our people. You broadcast it to make us afraid." She felt a cold calm settle over her. "You wanted to show us that humanity was weak. Instead, you showed us something else. You showed us that we have nothing left to lose." She raised her hand. And in that gesture was humanity's rage, humanity's grief, humanity's absolute refusal to go quietly into the night. Fire. The Fenrir devices activated simultaneously. For a microsecond, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself began to scream. The quantum cascade spread through the Zarthian fleet like wildfire through dry grass. Every exotic matter core destabilized at once, and the energy release was biblical. Ships that had terrorized dozens of worlds simply ceased to exist, converted into pure energy. The cascade didn't stop. It fed on itself, growing stronger, creating a miniature quasar that could be seen from Mars. In the operations center, alarms shrieked as the spatial disruption washed over Earth. Satellites tumbled from orbit. Power grids flickered worldwide. But Earth survived. Humanity survived. When the light faded, the Zarthian fleet was gone. Not destroyed, gone. Erased so completely that even their debris had been converted to energy and scattered across 100 light years. Elizabeth became aware of the silence in the operations center. Every screen across Earth broadcast the same image, empty space where the alien fleet had been. Then, slowly, the reports began coming in. "Ma'am, we're receiving transmissions from across the sector," a communications officer reported, her voice shaking. "Multiple species are. They're asking what happened. The Zarthians had subjugated 17 civilizations. They're all asking if Earth did this." Noah pulled up the analysis. The energy release was detected across 300 light years. Every species with sensors saw it. He looked at Elizabeth with something like awe. "Ma'am, we just announced ourselves to the galaxy." Elizabeth thought of New Singapore again. 7 million lives that could never be restored, never be avenged, only honored by ensuring their deaths meant something. "Open a channel," she said. "All frequencies, maximum broadcast range." When the light indicated she was transmitting, Elizabeth spoke clearly. "This is Director Elizabeth Chen of Earth. Today, the Zarthian Empire murdered 7 million human beings to frighten us into submission. We are not frightened. We are not submissive. And we are not prey." She paused, letting her words carry across the stars. "To any species watching, humanity extends its hand in friendship to all who come in peace. But to those who bring death to our door, who slaughter the innocent, who believe we are weak because we are young, remember this day. Remember that humans protect their own. Remember that we will never surrender. Remember that we are not your victims." She closed the channel and looked at Noah. His eyes were red, but he was smiling, a fierce, proud expression. "What now?" he asked. Elizabeth pulled up the data on the 17 species the Zarthians had enslaved. Now we contact them. We offer assistance. We share what we learned." She looked around the operations center at the tired, grieving, but unbroken faces, "and we make sure that no one, human or alien, ever has to face monsters like the Zarthians alone again." The galaxy had just learned that humanity had arrived. And humanity had just learned something about itself. That pushed to the edge, faced with extinction, humans wouldn't beg or break. They would fight. And they would win.